What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Look at that. You see this Smackdown shirt, right? Told you I had more shirts. This is like I brought 3 shirts. The one that you saw in the James Bond review, which was the NWO Wolfpack shirt. Then I got this Smackdown shirt that that most likely you're gonna see every time I do a Smackdown review. I'm always gonna be in the Smackdown shirt. The third shirt is the shirt for it's a shirt just like this, but it's Monday Night Raw. So when I do like Raw reviews or Smackdown reviews, as part of the new, as I call it, LilBigMan 2.0 or LilBigMan Season 2. Now you're gonna start seeing some little minor changes to how I used to do things. You know, trying to get better and better as I go. So really trying to find that voice, right? But yeah, so this is a review for Friday Night Smackdown. A little bit late, but hey, better late than never. This was so I have the need to say this felt really just like it really wasn't like nobody put any effort to make this show a good show. That this really felt like a very it felt like a filler show. You know how if you my anime fans, you ever watch Dragon Ball Z and you know all about fillers, or you ever watch Naruto, you know about fillers. But this felt like a filler. Like it felt like they had a little bit of main storyline telling, but most likely it was just like stuff that didn't really. It was just like, yeah, okay. But yeah, Brock Lesnar started off the show, and he's enjoying the cheers and adulation, reestablishing that he is a face. Brock Lesnar said, so I guess you know about my suspension being lifted. And then he goes on to say that he's only here for one thing and one thing only, and that's a Universal Championship. And then he went on to reveal, because he said, I bet you want to know how I got my championship, how I got my suspension lifted. And then he will be interrupted by Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn basically comes out. He's happy that he said something about being happy that him and Brock Lesnar's paths have finally crossed. He's happy to basically have he did talk about how similar their careers are. Then joyfully go besides the main events of WrestleMania, the championships and the UFC championships. He said, it's pretty much similar. Our careers are pretty much similar. And then Brock Lesnar he tells Sami Zayn to shut up and that he's confused. He's like, I don't know. I have the slightest clue of who you are. And so he basically I think Sami had little comments about them being both from Canada. And Brock Lesnar, yes, I am from Canada. I am from Saskatchewan. I am from Canada. But he said, I kill things. He said, I live in Saskatchewan. I kill things in Saskatchewan. I eat things in Saskatchewan. And he said, give me one good reason. He told him he got a lot of balls on him for coming out to interrupt him. Saying, give him one good reason why he should and why he hadn't, why he haven't or should not rip off his head. Or rip his head off. And Sami said, said that, there's valid questions he's gonna give him. So I'm saying he's he goes on to be saying he's like the locker room leader, all that other junk, and says that most important though, he's the #1 contender to the Universal Championship. And Brock Lesnar laughs because he's like, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me I get suspended and you, this guy who I barely know, because #1 contender. And Sami Zayn, like, he said, but when I beat Roman Reigns at day one, and he said, oh, and you're gonna be fighting him at day one. When I beat him at day one, I'll roll out the red carpet for you. Be the first person I defend the title against after I beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And he was like, oh, well, it came out crystal clear. He said, they playing you, and then he basically cohorts from there. He like intimidated, joyfully brought Lesnar, like, intimidate Sami Zayn into challenging Roman Reigns tonight, or not tonight, but that night on Friday for the Universal Championship instead of day one. And he he kept saying, he's like, you should do it right, like, here tonight in Texas. And and he was like, Sami kept trying to make up excuses, but he kept saying tonight. He's like, shut up, kid, listen. Tonight. And I think Sami Zayn accidentally put his hand on Brock Lesnar's chest, and he was like, Sami Zayn even realized he messed up. He was like, dang it. And he was like, I shouldn't have did that. I should have put you. He's like, ow, 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 ow. Brock Lesnar started twisting his hand. He's like, tonight, right? You're gonna fight. He said, I don't think, tonight. He's like, ow, okay, tonight. And and then he let go. He went back the opposite way. He was like, yeah, see, there you go, kid. Go get him. And that would end that promo. And then you would see Sami Zayn talking backstage with Sonya Deville about if Adam Pearce is here. He's trying to explain to Sonya that he might have stuck his foot in his mouth, and he's trying to, like, basically undo his agreement to face Roman Reigns tonight for the Universal Championship. And then Brock Lesnar shows up, and basically Sonya Deville, like, Adam Pearce is not going to be here. He's stuck in traffic, but he is on his way. And but she's like, he's trying to explain to Brock Lesnar, like, yeah, you see, I know I agree to, but with Adam Pearce not being here, she was like, I am an official too, and I can make them. I'm also able to make the match. He like, great. So he like, great. So Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns tonight for the Universal Championship, and then I get the winner at day one. Sonya Deville's like, yeah, okay, sure. And so he was like, great. So at that moment, it became official that Brock Lesnar will face the winner between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, whoever walks out as champion at day one. This would lead into the first match, which was this is when the night started to go downhill. It was like the first match was Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler. They put on a good match. They did. They put on a good match. I enjoyed it. It just really it really had no story behind it. It was just like put together, and I guess they tried to say that it was based off of the previous weeks or whatever, but it kind of really didn't have no substance about it, other than the fact that it was a good match. It really, like, story wise, it was just like, this came out of nowhere. Like, you would expect at least Naomi to be wrestling Shayna instead of Sasha, but it was like they really didn't have nothing to do with Sasha, but they wanted her to be on the episode, so they just put her in a match with Shayna Baszler, just so they could have something to do with Shayna Baszler and Sasha Banks. But overall, it was a good match, and Sasha would get the win. Then we would get another promo, which is a happy talk promo, which was set for what happened, which was, well, again, I can't get behind. I just can't stand, like I guess it's doing this job, not making me hate Baron Corbin. But it's not that I hate Baron Corbin or hate his character gimmick. It just is boring. So, they made jokes about Jeff Hardy, how Jeff Hardy screwed up how he screwed up the Battle Royal by not realizing Sami Zayn was there. It was still in the match, or how Drew McIntyre was left from being in the match. They made fun about Drew. They made jokes about both Jeff Hardy and Drew McIntyre, which would then bring out Jeff Hardy and Drew McIntyre to beat up both Baron Corbin and Riddick. His name, what is his name? Riddick Moss. Yeah, because I'm not calling him Madcap. I hate calling him Madcap Moss or Happy Corbin. Now that's like stupid to me. I always say that in every video. I hate calling them that because that's stupid names. But yeah, they ended up beating them up, and that was pretty much like the best part of that segment. Yeah, it's not. This probably gonna be a quick video, not a long video. Because it was not much to talk about. But then we would get to the second match, which is the Viking Raiders versus Los Lotharios. This was a good tag team match. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It was a good tag team match. It was, it was good. It was good. I was somewhat entertained by it, so I was keen on it. And then it had like a funny ending. It was like you had Los Lotharios basically set up the Viking Raiders. They end up getting the upper hand, setting up for their little signature tag team finisher. But Angel, for some reason, he was just like he stayed in at the turnbuckles, like taunting them and stuff. It's like, is he gonna hit him? Like, are you gonna hit him? Like, why are you waiting? Hit him, pin him. Like, what's going on here? And then you hear the guitar playing, and he's still it's like he almost missed his cue. Cause he's still taunting him, even though the guitar playing. Then then Angel finally realized, oh, it's guitar playing. And then it was Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm like, is that what they was waiting on? Oh God, they really botched that, because if that's why he didn't do the finisher. Oh yeah, they botched that real bad, because he should have been came. That should have been right on cue for when he so that we didn't have this awkward long moment where he was just sitting there and for no reason why he didn't hit his finisher. So Booze would play the guitar, get the distraction, and which would momentarily help the Viking Raiders. But then Humberto would end up rolling up. I think it's Ivor. And to get the pin. The bald-headed one, I should say. He rolled him up to get the pin, and it was just like. So what was the point of the distraction if the distraction didn't work? So like that whole embarrassment little segment with them having to wait until Rick Boogs get out there so they could be properly distracted was like, what was y'all? Okay, whatever. That was weird. But yeah, like they just end up getting, then the Viking Raiders, they both came out the ring. They were like, look, we get it. We're not super angry at you. We know you would just kind of come out here and help. But, they look like they was about to say, but you kind of messed us up. But Rick Boogs is trying to make peace. He would play the Viking Raiders theme song, and to get the Viking Raiders, like, in the middle of them talking, they're like, hey, that's our theme song. And then they like, Ray. And so they end up just like, okay, peace. They played our theme song. So I guess that's a peace moment for us. Then we would get to another match, which was the third match, which was King Woods versus J Uso. But before the match could start, the Usos cut a promo, basically mocking Sami Zayn for challenging Roman Reigns at all, later on challenging him tonight for the championship match, and then they, basically telling him he go get smashed. I still don't think that's the right choice of words to use. To keep saying they keep saying Roman Reigns are going to smash Sami, and then he's going to smash Brock Lesnar. And if you know what I'm getting at, it's like that kind of sounds weird to say, but that they went from Sami Zayn talking about Sami Zayn to talking about Brock Lesnar, and saying that he's gonna smash Brock Lesnar at day one, and because we are the ones. And then they talk about finishing the job that they finishing what they started with the New Day by finishing off and taking out King Woods. And then this will bring out King Woods, who basically cut a promo saying that, right now, y'all did destroy my crown for now. The crown is gone for now, but he teases that the crown will be making a return. He taunts the Usos and then about Usos and Roman about not liking surprises like they got earlier today. And he tells them, it says y'all guys don't like surprises. I got a surprise for you guys too. And the surprise was the return of Sir Kofi. Kofi was in the corner of King Woods as the match would go, but the match would not last very long. As once the upper hand got was as you know King Woods got the upper hand and like he was about to hit his finisher on Jay, Jimmy would cause the DQ, giving King Woods the disqualification win. This is where we cut back to a backstage segment with Roman Reigns basically asking Paul, basically bringing up all these things that Paul Heyman basically claims that he basically didn't know, he had no recollection of, like to warn ahead of time, to warn Roman Reigns ahead of time. Like he was surprised that Brock Lesnar's suspension was lifted, that Brock Lesnar was going to be here, that Brock Lesnar was going to do what he did, and basically this is agitated Roman that basically Paul Heyman, who supposed to know everything, didn't know nothing about Brock Lesnar being there. So, but he said, but here's one thing you will know, that at day one, after I get done smashing Sami Zayn, I'm gonna smash Brock Lesnar at day one. Charlotte Flair would come in to cut a promo, but before that there was another backstage promo with King Woods and Sir Kofi, and they basically revealed that at day one they will be facing the Usos for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. But then Charlotte Flair back in the ring with her. She says, Tony had a lot to say. She didn't, had a lot little spitfire, had a lot to say. She don't know where to begin. But then she says she does, and then say we can all agree that to make yourself relevant in this business and in this division, you have to challenge Charlotte Flair. Basically boosting herself by being the most decorated champion, and that she basically came out. She said she basically talked about how that's what Toni Storm tried to do. She's trying to make a name for herself by challenging Charlotte Flair. She's trying to make people recognize it, which is stupid because we all know Toni Storm is a great competitor and one of the great competitors and one of the best women, they got in the division for SmackDown from NXT. If you just give her something to do properly to build her up, because right now her stay on the main roster has been lackluster at best. They basically right now, of all the call-ups, maybe it looked like I forgot, they did say, I think Azalea Lee will be debuting this coming up Friday. They said she's gonna be debuting this coming up Friday, but it looked like Azalea Lee and Toni Storm has been the call-ups that's going to get some actual puss, unlike the last time, which was what Rhea Ripley. They're actually gonna do something for people like they did for like how out of nowhere basically like no Santi Blackheart. Santi Blackheart was not on the show, and I'm like, are you already giving up on the Santi Blackheart angle? Okay, now that would have made more sense to have her and Sasha in the match instead of her and Shayna, but whatever. Moving on. Sari basically confirms that she's once again saying no to Tony's challenge, and then she leaves the ring. She's on the ramp, basically holding up her title. Flexing, holding up her title. Then she turns around to get pied in the face by Toni Storm. Toni Storm getting some payback on Charlotte, and so Charlotte basically got one up finally by Toni Storm. The next match would be Cesaro versus Samus, and this was a good match. This was actually one. Compared to all the matches, it's a shame that this was the best match on the night, because this actually had a good back and forth and a good pace into it. I felt bad that everything up until this point was just lackluster. This was by far the best match of the night, because the next match, Samus would end up winning that match, but the next match was the main event, which was Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, and they screwed the main event scene up so bad that when the actual match started, it was spear, guillotine, one, and then all that in the span of 4 seconds. So the way how the main event match went was Sami made his entrance. They went to a they went to a break. Then they recap what happened on Raw. They kept doing recaps of what happened on Raw, what happened early in the night, and then another break. Then we come back. Sami cuts a promo. Then Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar. Sami continues his promo with Brock Lesnar, and basically he was sticking his foot in his own mouth by saying like how Brock Lesnar basically has been having a little bit of bad luck against Roman Reigns, but he said reassured him, I'm not trying to make fun of you, I'm not trying to get you angry, nothing like that. I'm just saying. And then Brock Lesnar was like, oh yeah, I understand. Then he just German suplex and F5 Sami Zayn and prop Sami Zayn up in the corner. We get another break. Roman Reigns come out, do his full entrance. They trying to get Sami to see if he's ready if he's going to be able to compete. And then boom, once the rep bell is run, he gets speared and be put into the guillotine, and that was the end of the show. Then they promoted Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at day one. That was horrible. That was a horrible main event. That was horrible. This show was horrible. This was a horrible show. I had a bad feeling after Sami Zayn won to become number one contender. Then they revealed that Brock Lesnar his suspension has been lifted. He will be on this episode of Smackdown. That he was just basically there to facilitate Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and I don't think they should have did that. I believe they should have at least gave Sami Zayn an actual chance to actually put on a decent match before he lost, because I didn't think he was going to win. You knew he wasn't going to beat Roman, but at least make him look a little bit good in his defeat. And you couldn't even get him that. He had, it was just like, if you was just going to give it to Brock Lesnar, why bother even having Sami Zayn fight him tonight? Just have Brock Lesnar waiting, or just make it a triple threat match at day one. Like, I don't understand what they was doing here, but they really screwed Sami Zayn over. All in all, I have to say, this episode of SmackDown was underwhelming to say the least. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this episode of SmackDown gets 4 out of 10 big ups, because this was horrible. I didn't enjoy this episode of SmackDown at all. Like, besides some good promos and one good match, this episode was pretty much trash. But hey, if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed it, or if you had the same thoughts as I did about SmackDown. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my wrestling reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I drop videos, so you won't miss anything. Please, because it's all free. You can do it, and you can change your mind at any time. Also, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. I'll be back with some more gameplay.